Hey y'all, Kayla here from Wild Camo. So, if you've ever watched a big old buck that you've patterned all summer long just vanish the second archery season opens, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is so frustrating. One day he's hitting that bean field like clockwork, and the next, gone. Well, I'm here to tell you, he didn't leave the county. He just went grocery shopping deep in the woods. And today, we're gonna figure out his exact shopping list. And this quote right here, it explains it all. It's a predictable shift, but it feels like magic if you don't see it coming. That buck is now on Acorns, but here's the secret. He's not on just any Acorns. By the end of this, I promise you, you'll know exactly which oaks to key on right now, where to set up your stand for that perfect shot, and, just as important, when it's time to pack up and move to the next spot. So let's get into it. And hey, before we get into all the nitty-gritty, if this is the kind of content that helps you out, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to swing by my website. I've got free ebooks and literally countless hours of audiobooks on all things hunting. Okay, let's talk about that dreaded October lull. I know, it feels like a total myth, like the deer just evaporate. But the truth is, they're not moving less, not at all. They're just moving differently. They're leaving those wide open fields and diving deep into the timber for one reason and one reason only. You see this? When those acorns start hitting the ground, a deer's entire diet can flip, practically overnight. They will drop everything for that hard mast. We're talking acorns making up as much as 75% of what they eat. They are packing on the carbs and fat for the rut and the long winter ahead, and acorns are, hands down, the most efficient way to do it. So here's the most crucial part of this whole thing. Not all acorns are created equal. Not in a deer's eyes, anyway. If you just wander into the woods and set up by any old oak tree, well, you're pretty much just gambling. So the very first step to finding that buck again is simple. You gotta know your nuts. And the best part is, this is super simple. You can tell the two main oak families apart just by looking at their leaves. White oaks, they've got those nice, smooth, rounded lobes. Red oaks, they're the ones with the sharp, pointy lobes, usually with a tiny little bristle right on the tip. This one little detail, y'all, it tells you almost everything you need to know about where that deer wants to be. And here's the why behind it. White oaks have way less of something called tannic acid, which basically makes them taste sweet. They're like candy to a whitetail. They drop early, but they also sprout in the fall, so they don't last long. Deer are gonna hammer these first. Now red oaks, they're more bitter. But look at that fat content. We're talking double, sometimes triple the fat. They become a critical late-season food source long after those sweet white oaks are all gone. Alright, so now we know what we're looking for, those sweet white oaks early on. So let's talk about how to find them efficiently. I'm going to give you a fast, repeatable system to pinpoint the exact trees deer are feeding under right this very second. It's a simple little 3-step process. First, you're going to do a map pass from your couch, using satellite images to find ridges and spurs that look like they're loaded with hardwoods. Step 2, you get your boots on the ground to confirm what you saw and look for that fresh sign. And third, this is the key, you narrow it all down to find that one magic tree that's getting all the attention. Now when I say fresh sign, I mean yesterday fresh. This is what you're looking for. We're talking moist acorn crumbs when you kick them with your boot. You want to see new, bright-looking caps and hulls on the ground. Fresh, soft tracks in the dirt. Recent droppings. Maybe even some nipped browse right there. This stuff tells you the dinner bell is ringing right now. Now listen up, because this is absolutely critical. Research from guys like Dr. Marcus Lashley has shown that a tiny fraction of trees, a third of the oaks, can produce 75% of all the acorns. We call this the ice cream tree. It's that one tree, or maybe a tiny little cluster of 2 or 3, that deer just prefer over all the others. Your job is not to find an oak flat. Your job is to find that one spot. Okay, so you did it. You found the spot. The sign is smoking hot under a single white oak tree. Now what? Well, finding the tree is only half the battle. Let's move on to the tactical playbook, because this is how you turn that knowledge into a successful hunt. Think about the acorn drop-in phases. The first week or so. That's phase A. Deer are going to hit the very first white oaks that drop, and they're usually going to be super tight to their bedding areas. Then you got weeks 2 and 3. That's phase B. The main crop has fallen, and that is your absolute prime time. After that, the white oaks are mostly gone, and that's phase C, when you got to shift your whole focus over to the red oak handoff for your late season hunts. So, when you hang that stand, distance is everything. Your sweet spot for a bow setup is going to be somewhere between 18 and 28 yards from the trunk of that main feed tree. This is close enough for a high confidence shot, but it's just far enough that you won't get picked off when you go to draw your bow. I like to aim for that sweet spot right around 23 yards. That'll put you right in the money. Now listen, access is everything. I'm telling you, afternoon hunts where food are your highest odds bet. And when you walk in, never, ever walk under the branches of the tree you're hunting. Stay off what we call the drip line. That's the ground right under the canopy where the acorns are. You'll just be leaving your scent all over their dinner table. And make sure you set your stand so your wind is blowing past their trail, not directly across it. One bad swirl and the whole game is over before it starts. Of course, no 2 years are ever the same out here. A good strategy has to be adaptable. How you hunt the oaks in a year when they're everywhere is completely different from a year when you can barely find one. So, in a bumper year, when there are acorns all over the forest floor, deer don't have to move far at all. The key then is to get in tight to bedding areas and hunt the absolute freshest sign you can possibly find. But in a thin year, those few trees that are producing become absolute deer magnets. You can rotate between these isolated hotspots and you'll often find way more consistent daylight movement. And you've got to remember to tailor this whole plan to your region. Down here in the south where I hunt, we've got species like water oaks and willow oaks that can drop late and really extend that hunting window deep into the winter. But up north and in the Midwest, it's a more classic pattern. You're going to hunt those white oaks on the ridges early, then follow the deer over to the red oaks as the season gets colder. So before you ever clip that harness on, just run through this quick checklist in your head. 1. Confirm there's a fresh drop. 2. Verify that all that hot sign is concentrated under one specific tree. 3. Check your setup. Are you 20 to 30 yards downwind? 4. Know your entry and exit like the back of your hand. And 5, and this is a big one, be ready to move. If that sign cools off, don't sit there wishing and hoping. Get down and go find a new spot. Thank you so much for watching. If you're always looking to learn and improve, check out my website at www.thewildcamo.com. You'll find countless free ebooks and hundreds of hours of audiobooks to help you learn on the go. As I always say, frustration begins where your knowledge ends. If you learned something new, please give this video a like and let me know in the comments. And be sure to subscribe. I post new hunting videos almost every day. Until next time, happy hunting.